in which T-Mobile tried to do something very foolish and it totally backfired on them, and he backtracked again, right? So this is on top of the email that he sent out to employees and then making a public statement, and he gave his reasons and all of that stuff. But again, I think this calls to the character of Mike Sievert and his leadership and lack of accountability. But let's cover that here. The story here is from Fierce Wireless. They've got a story on it, discussing it, and we'll just use it kind of as like the placeholder for our sake. All right, link for the article will be in the description. Ways to support the SMT YouTube channel and all the productions here in the description as well. Okay, so after the leaked documents of this forced migration, and we saw the documents, and we saw the details, and all the credentials were there, and everything in the process of forcing people off of legacy plans onto these Go 5G plans, much more expensive, less value, all of those things. It totally backfired on T-Mobile. People were upset. They were going to opt out. Some people were churning. And Sievert said that it was all just a test. And maybe it was. Maybe T-Mobile was testing it and they failed. T-Mobile failed. Like, they pretended like they were testing customers. Turned out they were testing themselves, and they failed with flying colors. All right, the quote from T-Mobile CEO Mike Sievert: "We tend to do tests and pilots of things quite a bit to try to figure out what's the right answer. In this case, we had a test cell to try to understand customer interest in and acceptance of migrating off old legacy rate plans to something that's higher value." And then it leaked as if it was a broad national thing, and it kind of wasn't. We're calling bullshit. Nowhere on the document did it say it was a cell or a test or, an experiment, which is what he called it. He came out later with new documentation and a new email saying it was a test, because T-Mobile did not understand that backlash was going to happen. I don't understand how they didn't know that was going to be the case. Folks, the legacy T-Mobile customer is a frugal one, right? They have maintained and held those plans for a reason, and it is 100% related to cost. Not all plans have a lot of value. Some plans have incredible value. And more specifically, I think what has to be said is the fact that they are low-cost plans. They're very affordable, and people keep them because of that. He brought it up. He volunteered this information today, folks. Nobody asked him. It was clearly on his mind. It was clearly consuming him, and he's trying to put out the fire. He came out, in his initial press release, completely gaslighting folks, very disingenuous, blaming the media, right? Spinning it off as if it was something somebody else did wrong. It was you, dude. It was you and your leadership, your people. You miscalculated. You did things wrong. That's on you. Still deflecting, still refusing to be accountable. This is just who he is, and that's what it's going to be. And look, I don't know. Maybe all CEOs are like this. I don't know. But I got to call a spade on this one. I'm calling bullshit, and he's not backing down from the bullshit, And I'll be honest with you guys. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care, about the Verizon CEO, the AT&T CEO, or the T-Mobile CEO. I don't give a shit about any of these guys. They all make $20 million, $30, $40, $50 million a year. The hell do I care? But when you have someone who refuses to accept accountability, that kind of says a lot, But they're too big to fail at this point, right? They're infallible. They could do whatever they want. And, of course, the Thong following will continue to, support this type of behavior, endorse it, and feel good about it. And I'm telling you, it's going to backfire if it hasn't already. A lot of us have seen it. We know what they're capable of doing. And, had this not blown up in their face and them have to eat crow, we'd be having a different story. Anyways, tell me what you guys think about him bringing this up and discussing it at earnings and kind of his approach. I think questionable character, definitely, to say the least. Sound off on the comment section below. You all the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.